Welcome back to Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television. Okay, so before we went on the break, Modupe did say we're going to be talking about something very interesting. It is something that every organization, every businessman, every business person struggle with. What am I talking about? How to meet deadlines. Today, our topic will be meeting deadlines. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you
in the corporate
Are you
world?
in the corporate world? Yes. Today, we're going to be talking about how to meet deadlines, what to do. We're going to talk about different types of deadlines, so you don't want to miss today's program. Okay, so we have a professional in the house. I would let Modupe introduce our guest in the house.
As always, you are so good in doing that. Okay, we have Ibukun Solomon in the studio, and he will be doing justice to the topic, meeting deadlines. I like to refer him, as an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, yeah.
Entrepreneur extraordinaire. Okay. You're welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Nice to be here.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Good to have you.
Meeting deadlines, apart from, if you're an entrepreneur in the corporate world, especially when it has to do with news and telecoms media, regardless of whatever, you have deadlines. You have to, there's a particular time given to you to deliver a particular task that was given to you. So how can we meet deadlines regardless? Let's start from there.
Well, thank you very much. It depends on the structure in your organization, for instance.
Okay.
If you have a large organization, it doesn't even have to be large. There are tools one could use for this. And as an entrepreneur or as the boss, you need to always teach your staff how to meet up with this deadline, because it's not good for business when you don't meet up with deadlines. It's not good for business. So the reason why you're in business in the first place is because you need clients, you have customers. So when they ask for something, when they patronize you, and you have to deliver something and you cannot meet up, then you should be you are not a business person, so to say. So there are tools which you can use for this. There are the tools are online that we could use. Some of them can even be downloaded on our phones, so that you could keep tab on the events as it goes on. So there are tools you could use to teach your people how to do this. It doesn't necessarily mean that there are sometimes that verbal communication, you forget a lot of things. But if these things are written down in written or in the form of documentation and stuff like that, it's easier for you to keep tab. It's easier for you to look at this exact time I need to do this, at this particular time I need to do this. So it doesn't have to do with business as well, even in our personal
life. Yes.
Yeah, sometimes, for instance, the doctor places you on a particular drug, for instance, and say, look, every 2 hours,
you take this.
Take this. Sometimes we just seem to forget. But if there are things we could use, there are some wristwatches come and at exactly 2 hours it vibrates.
Yes.
Do you understand? So, these things are helping you to keep to deadlines. Do you understand? So, there are a lot of things that could be used. Internet and the world at large has made it very easy for us to meet up with deadlines now. So, if you now don't meet up,
it's left to you.
Okay, so talking about deadlines, I'd like for us to talk about different types of deadlines. So what are those different types of deadlines? Because we work in different organizations, different business settings. What are those different types of deadlines?
Well, regardless of your organization, once there's a task, there's a project, it means that you have deadline, right? And first of all, as an organization, as a team, probably create a team for it. As a team, you need to first break this, the brief, break it down to long-term and short-term.
Okay.
There are some that you need to, there are some that might take like 4 or 5 days. There are some that has to be done that same day. So you need to break down these things so that it's easier for you to achieve. You understand?
Yeah.
So you break them down to the short-term goals, the long-term goals. So
okay.
you can do. There are some that will take 3 days, and the ones that will take 3 days can start at the same time as some of the ones that will take probably 4 days.
4 days.
You understand? So this would end, probably terminate at this date, and the other one will just take 1 more day. So you don't need to wait for after day 3 before you start another one. You know, a lot of them can go hand in hand. So that's so once you identify the short-term ones, you identify the long-term one, then you now start and move on with what you need to do.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
want to say something?
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt him. So it's talking about the short-term goals,
Okay.
meeting deadlines. I know we have the rush deadlines.
Okay.
The rush deadlines, you get maybe 3 hours
Okay.
to meet a target. And you were given that maybe in nights before. Let's say I was given this target yesterday, last night.
Okay.
And I'm supposed to submit the document, say, 10 a.m.
Okay.
this morning.
Okay.
That's rush deadline. So what happens if I'm not able, as an entrepreneur, what happens if I'm not able to meet up that deadline and I'm supposed to submit it at 10? What happens?
Well, a few things. First of all, the reason, like I said earlier, you are in business to meet up with this, with such deadlines. You understand? So you should try to meet up, right? But in the case where, of course, we don't have a perfect system, something might happen.
Okay.
So I think you should just let the person know on time.
Okay.
And that's one bad thing we do. You know, communication is key. We tend to neglect that part. Look, this is what's going on. This is you need to brief. You need to keep updating the other party as on your progress report, so that the person is aware. The person can move along with you. You know, but most times we don't communicate these things.
Yeah.
So once there is a break in communication, a lot of things happen. Then at the end of the day, we are not able to meet up with the deadline. You know, the African, or should I say it's Nigerian, they switch off our phone.
And then we repeat to
It
pick
can be
calls.
annoying.
Yeah, then
Exactly.
we blame it on the
Network.
It was network, because we have a lot of things that you blame it on. You know, there was no light.
Yes.
No,
Low
the generator wasn't
battery.
working, low battery, all those kind of things. But really, they should communicate it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
Okay, so if you are in the corporate world and you are given an unrealistic deadline, you know that within the space of time you were given, you can't, you can't meet up. Now, the one you talked about was as an entrepreneur, how do you handle? But this is, you're in the corporate world, you have a boss, you have a leader that told you, okay, by this time I want you to submit this report, I want you to do this, but you can't. You know that you can't, and you
can't tell your boss
and
you
you can't say, no, ma'am, no, sir, I can't deliver. How can you still deliver that task, within that short space of time?
Look, like you said, if you can't deliver, you can't deliver.
Well, you can't tell your boss that.
you
No,
can.
see, that's why I said communication.
Okay.
If you cannot deliver, you can't deliver. It cannot be. This is not rocket science.
True.
And two things. See, there are deadlines. Let me try to paint this scenario. There are deadlines from the management to the boss. Then from the boss to probably the next in line. Yeah?
Okay.
So if the management is giving me as the boss 5 days
Okay.
to do this, I'll give the other guy 3 days.
Okay. I get it.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So in 3 days, it should come to me. And I should review everything I need to
yes.
review so that I can be able to meet up with the 5 days. So it now depends on who is giving the deadline.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Of course, some bosses are like that. Of course, if you don't make it happen, the boss gets the hit,
Yes.
not you. So, but you will be looking at, I can't meet up with this and stuff like that. This is why you giving me a man. I know why the person knows why he's giving that such task, so that, you know, when you are able to, no matter what, I think you should be able to do like 90%. Yeah, and some of them will tell you that they are trying to drive you, they are trying to motivate you. So, you know, they drive you to do to achieve sometimes. Yeah, all those things are actually needed.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Some people are just naturally lazy.
Yeah, procrastination.
Yeah, they procrastinate a lot. So, you know, when you do, look, I've seen you do stuff, right? So if I give you this task, normally I give you for 4 days, and I say, you know what, I want it for 2 days. Probably the last time I gave you something related, you did it halfway, did some other things and stuff like that. So it took you 4 days. So I'm looking, okay, fine. If I'm going to give you another task, I may probably give you 2 days.
2 days, okay.
So probably, and you're like, no, I can't meet up. You know, the last time we did it. Yes, but the person has seen this in you that, look, you can actually achieve this in the space of. So the person needs to drive you to actually do that. And sometimes you don't actually know that you can do it until you do it.
Yes.
Okay.
So, you know, when they give such task or such deadlines, it depends on where it's coming from. If the overall boss says, look, this is it, this is the deadline, of course, every other person, you know, when you pull, then the next person gets the hit, then the next person gets the hit.
You know, it's like that.
You get it like that.
Down.
So you don't give the same deadline, like if the boss gives you 5 days, you don't give the other guy 5 days as well. No,
True.
you have to reduce
give them
your
2 days or 3 days.
Well, like a buffer. So,
Okay, so if I'm getting your words correctly now, you know, you're saying that in the corporate world as an entrepreneur, you shouldn't complain when you're giving deadlines, because sometimes your boss gives you that deadline because they've seen that you have the potential to deliver effectively within a short space of time. So instead of complaining and saying you can't, believe that you can, and then go ahead and do it.
all right.
Yeah, because I like to relate this to similar experience I had during NYC. I was the editor-in-chief at the time.
Okay.
So I had this girl I was working with directly. She was really efficient. So I would give her a task.
Yes.
She would rather do it than complain. So she would do it first and then complain later.
Wow.
Yes, so I really admire that about her. She would do it first and then complain later. So
Then
I
if
think
she now
that's what
does it and then it's not what you want, at least she
exactly
made an attempt.
she made an
tried.
attempt. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so talking about deadlines, everything in life has advantages and disadvantages. So what are those gripping effects deadlines have on our professional lives and on our businesses? Because I don't know if it's all rosy. I don't know. But what are those gripping effects it has?
Well, I think for me it has more advantages than disadvantages.
Okay, can you share both the advantage and then disadvantage then?
Well, with that, from my perspective, it keeps you in business. Yeah, because the ability to deliver, you are in business with so many, there are so many people doing the same thing that you're doing. What stands you out? Yeah, is your ability to deliver, right? Believe me, I'm sure when we talk about tailors in this country, I know the first thing that comes to your mind is that they don't deliver.
I don't even want something happened to me over the weekend.
Okay.
Just finish up. I wrote something on my status and I said, tailors will not make heaven. I'm not even joking. They won't make heaven. You give them one thing and they won't I wrote it. I said, I don't care who you are.
And we were supposed to have that discussion, but that's not sure. You will tell me.
I will tell you. Please continue.
So, you know, for such, and if you are coming into the same environment, in the same business, what stands you out, right? Don't take on something you know you cannot deliver, right?
Yeah.
And it's greed
I know, right?
that makes some of us do that. It's greed. We want it all. Oh, I can do it. Yeah. I like this, the passion. Yeah. Oh, I can do it. You know, oh, this person can. You know, when you now take on too many projects at the same time, then you have problem. Then, like they say, in Nigeria, body is not wood.
Yes.
Yeah? It will tell on you as a person as well. You know, when you have to deliver and you have to keep late nights.
Yes, health-wise.
Health-wise, it's by the time at the end of the day you're exhausted.
Exhausted.
You understand?
True.
It will tell on your health. So it's meeting deadline in that regard is something that, but it will drive you. It will drive you. And like coming back to the tailors and stuff like that, December period.
I don't want to think about it.
You don't want to give them your clothes because forget it, they would mess up. So, and for a lot of people, there are a lot of events around that period. So some of them, I know some of them that run 24 hours non-stop because they need to meet up with deadline. You understand? So, and by the time you go into their office the next day, you see them looking like, madam, we never sleep, all those kind of things. So, so it will tell on you on your health, and you might not be able to deliver appropriately or to the best of your ability because of fatigue or because of maybe at the point where you need to do something, maybe you're trying to sort it out in the middle of the night, at 1 a.m., you're half asleep, half awake, and that kind of thing. So it might tell on the work that you're doing at that point.
Okay.
But I'm assuming you are fully awake during the day. If you're doing that same thing, you wouldn't have made that mistake. And all. So,
true.
Things like that. But the good side is that it helps you plan your time. Yeah, it makes you a better person. It makes you, it helps you put yourself together, the composure, put your time to better use. Some people just, this is what I need to do. They don't even, when you start to say, this is what I need to do, you allot a particular time. This needs to be, this needs to finish by this total time. This needs to be done by this time. It's life becomes easy. Do you understand? So, all your to-do list, then you check, then it's, I think back in the days, we didn't used to have things like that. So we just keep it in our head. And you see somebody driving, and all of a sudden you say, yay!
I was supposed to get something.
I was supposed to do something, But if you have a to-do list, if you have if you have things like that, so you can check, so life, things become easier.
Okay.
And you can plan yourself, you can do other things while you're doing what you have to do.
We have a question, and the person is saying that concerning this topic, which is meeting deadlines, how can you prioritize? How do you bring in priority, like decide that? Let me answer the question.
Well, first of all, when you, like I said earlier, you need to place all your cards on the table at the initial stage. And if it's you or if it's a team, put all your cards on the table. What comes first? Okay? What do I need to do? Look, I need to cook. All I know is that I need to make this particular meal. What do I do first? Meal will not just come. Probably a pot of soup, for instance. Yeah? You need to get to the market. You need to first have money on you. You need to get to the market. You need to buy this. You need to buy that. Then when time you come back, I need to wash this. I need to wash that. Then put this on fire. Okay, this is what I'll add first, This is what I'll add. This will come in later. All those things. So that's how you prioritize. You just don't say, I want to do this, then I do it. No, it doesn't work that way. So it's in stages. Put all your cards on the table.
Okay.
The one that is more important and how fast you can, effectively deliver that. So that in that order.
In that order.
Yes.
So talking about priorities, when we went on the break, we're talking about mixed deadlines. For instance, you have your boss's boss give you deadlines to meet. But before we answer that question, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about meeting mixed deadlines with your boss or your boss's bosses, whoever you...
boss.
Exactly. So don't go away. Don't forget that we're streaming live on Facebook.
Yes.
And you can join this conversation.
And when we come back, you can call in and ask your question and ask Mr. Ibuku Solomon all the hard questions that you have in mind. He's capable. Let's go on the short break. We'll be right back. To enjoy more interesting episodes of Tea or Coffee, then like and subscribe.